from where I'm standing, what I care about with respect to the value of the DSA has always been, first and foremost, a political organization that is capable of delivering political education, socialist political education, to an increasingly growing class-conscious group of American workers. Part of that is making campaign promises, winning on those promises, and then delivering on that agenda, and then closely associating democratic socialism with good governance and electoral success. But ultimately, the goal of DSA is not to just run Democrats and win elections in the Democratic Party. DSA organizes outside of that quite a bit, organizing around protests, working with labor unions. As long as, from my estimation, the Democratic Socialists of America are not as crazy towards the left as what is commonplace on the right, as long as we don't arrive at that position, who cares? And perhaps there's no equivalence anyway, and I don't believe there is one. If your expectation is that everyone is going to follow the Zoran line, hook, line, and sinker, you are wrong. There are plenty of people within the Democratic Socialists of America, including the national co-chair, that are further to the left as Zoran Mamdani. If you think that they're all going to be as smooth and as charismatic as Zoran Mamdani, well, you're also wrong. Not everyone is capable of becoming a politician. Zoran is a generational talent.
Democrat socialists doubling down on some of their most extreme platforms.
Abolish ICE.
Absolutely.
Abolish borders and give amnesty to anyone currently in the U.S. illegally.
As a long-term plan, yep.
Long term. She's proud of it. Yeah.
But do their views speak for the entire Democratic Party? What we need to know as the DSA just keeps growing.
One of the
The Democratic Socialists of America democratically organize around their platform. That's it. So even if its cadre candidates don't fully endorse the entirety of the platform, as long as they're a part of the organization, they're still a part of the organization. There's shit that I don't agree with, but who gives a fuck? What don't you agree with, for example? It's not even relevant enough to bring up. Because ultimately, even if I have disagreements, like minor disagreements or disagreements in the way that it's communicated, I don't care. You know what I mean? Like, my attitude on this is these people are not only members of my community, members that I've sent the way of DSA, but also far closer to me, ideologically, far closer to me in terms of like how to achieve some kind of necessary change in this country than anyone else in American politics. So no, I'm not going to fucking shit on them. I'm not going to make a mountain out of a molehill. I think you should care. DSA members keep showing up on Fox News and being incompetent and communicating. And ultimately, these are missed opportunities to attract people to our own movement. I don't think you understand. I don't think she's incompetent. I think she has a different opinion than you. But sucks to suck for you and everyone else. That opinion is one that the National Party has democratically decided on. Even if I have disagreements with some of this program, the DSA's goal is not to win elections for the Democrats. What are we talking about? It's a socialist organization. It's a big tent socialist organization. The DSA right position is the DSA platform is appealing to the masses. It's left populist. It's great. I agree. And there is truth to that. That's the DSA right position. Okay. But the Democratic Socialists of America is a far larger organization than its right-wing factions. Sure, its right-wing factions are very successful at bringing in new members. This is true. But ultimately, those new members that come in still filter through the organization, find themselves in adequate caucuses, and go through the process of political education and no longer just stay as like social democrats, for example. And then they democratically vote on the national platform. That's it.
Chairs of the Democratic Socialists of America joined Fox News Sunday with Shannon Bream, who asked if established Democrats should be worried about DSA plans for their party.
The establishment Democrats should be worried about the voters and about what the voters think and about what the constituency thinks. And right now they have not been delivering, and our candidates are and have been, and it's resonating with voters.
And Romer went on to explain to Shannon Bream some of the other arguments that the DSA is trying to make and changes like expanding Congress, getting rid of the Senate, getting rid of the presidency and the Supreme Court as we know it, and abolishing prisons, and as a future long-term plan, even opening up the borders. Guys, back to you.
You left out getting rid of the Pentagon.
Right.
But.
And prisons.
What are you going to say? Alec, thank you very much. You know what? Shannon Bream put the woman that we just saw in that report. She just gave her a list. Okay, yes or no? Are you for this stuff? You against it?
Defund the Pentagon.
Absolutely.
Abolish prisons, at least in large part.
Yeah, again, that as part of a long-term program, yeah.
Okay, so no prisons. Government or public ownership of most large corporations.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what can you add to
Other than that?
So what is that called? Like chaos? Not having a country?
Socialism.
Right.
Insane.
I don't understand why people are ashamed of the DSA platform that was democratically voted on, especially when a lot of this stuff is not designed around winning elections. An organization like the Democratic Socialists of America, of course, is going to have ideals that they abide by. They're a fucking socialist organization. There's a difference between revisionism and being a social democrat, okay? DSA, Democratic Socialists of America, is a revisionist organization. They are not a social democratic organization. They are a democratic socialist organization. Some will say it's the journey, not the destination, and that opinions evolve as material conditions change, and that DSA is pushing for what they can within the current confines, within the current limitations, within the current material conditions. But ultimately, there is a difference between democratic socialism and social democracy. It is not easy for DSA to say what you're saying. We voted on a platform. We are a real political party, not a brand for corporate interests like the DNC. I mean, they could say that if they want to. Sometimes they do say that. What is DSA right versus DSA left? DSA right would be the right wing of the Democratic Socialists of America. You know how the Democratic Party has a right wing and a left wing? Yes, DSA right are electoralists that range from social democrats, democratic socialists of varying different tendencies. DSA has a broad variety of different ideological tendencies that it represents. Because she sounded radical and insane on Fox News and you're defending her, I don't know why. Chatter, I don't know if you know this, but I largely agree with her. Not only am I defending her from a principled position, but I also largely agree with her. These are ideals that we are moving towards. This is also the reason why when people call me a communist, I say, hey, that doesn't sound like too bad of an idea. Does it sound like a bad idea to you? Now, most people will say, that's horrifying. You do not immediately oppose the moniker of communism. You're a communist. To that, I say, so be it. What's the issue? Moving society, evolving society to a degree where there is no more use for money, a classless, borderless, moneyless, maybe even stateless society. I say that's an evolution that I welcome. Don't you want to dream of a better future? That's an honorable goal. So that's it. That's why I always say that. And the same principle holds for what the supposed radical policies are. Our opponents will always bastardize our message. Our opponents will always ridicule. Our opponents will always choose to misinform their audiences. It is up to us to correct the record. It is up to us to invoke messaging discipline to the best of our ability. But it's also important to engage in comradely behavior and not lean into cynical oppositional framing and attack our allies. My attitude on this is simple. Who is making this attack? What is their worldview? Are they in favor of, for example, I'm not a prison abolitionist, right? But if you were to ask me to choose between prison abolition and private prisons, I would choose prison abolition. I understand prison abolition as a goal. The current normalized system of the carceral state in the United States of America is insane, is utterly insane. We are well adjusted to this utterly insane societal formation, but that doesn't make it normal. That doesn't make it good. That doesn't make it healthy, okay? In any case, the DSA position on, abolishing jails or whatever. As far as abolishing jails goes, no one is saying we're going to open up the jails tomorrow, let the roam free. No one is saying that. I've never met a single person. I've met many prison abolitionists, wonderful activists, wonderful advocates. Not a single one of them has ever been like, we're going to open the jails tomorrow. That would be psychotic, okay? The point is that the American carceral system is not designed to reduce recidivism, to make sure that people that have done even heinous crimes can be rehabilitated. The American criminal justice system revolves around punitive measures, revolves around torturous conditions, revolves around basically doing as much harm as possible to people that have harmed others. That's not justice, okay? And it's also unsuccessful. It's unbelievably unsuccessful. If the goal of the prison system, in theory, is supposed to cordon off people that have done harm to others for, some period of time, and then make sure that they can reintegrate into society and never do that cruelty ever again, our prison system has failed on that front every single time, okay? That's it.